By Shali, and this is the Caregena podcast. Here I am today with Sanmathi.
Hi, my name is Sanmathi. I am an incoming junior in college, and I'm based in Fremont, California.
Thank you for being here today. My first question is, what specific goals and aspirations drive the work you engage in?
So, I've actually always wanted to be a pre-med student or like in the medical field. So, there isn't really much that drove me in the beginning. It was just something that always interested me. Every single little shop that you would go to, I'm sure everyone has seen like the little plastic medical kits. So every single store I'd go to, I would always like pick them out and ask my parents to get them. Especially when we went to India, there are stores based outside, and there are so many plastic models and plastic kits. And I was just very interested in it from the beginning, and I would operate on my friends, my family, and all of that. And as time progressed, it was just something that interested me in school, in life, and it just felt like something that was so right to me. And like every single aspect of it interests me, the science part, the physical part, the anatomy part, every single part. And there is literally nothing more that I would want to do for the rest of my life. So yeah, that is what has driven me to be a pre-med student and continue in the medical field and keep continuing.
Amazing. Could you share a deeply personal or impactful story that inspired your involvement in the work?
So, I see, I'm not really sure what tied into my interest in the first place, but I can give you like little stories that may have.
Mm-hmm.
My mom actually wanted to be a doctor growing up, and she was very passionate about that. However, the medical school that she wanted to go to, or the closest medical school, was very far away from where they lived. So her parents didn't allow her to go. And the truth is, I didn't actually know that until way later, until my passion had already instilled. And I think that just made my passion grow even deeper because I wanted to show my mom that even though she wasn't able to, maybe I would be able to through her or
Mm-hmm.
something like that, or she would be able to through me. That's what I meant. Um, and just in a way, like my passion, just it being something that's not just for money or not just because, and something that I really just really heartfeltly, like wholeheartedly just want to do. Maybe like in a way, it would make my mom's younger self live the life that she wanted to.
Definitely.
So, yeah. But other than that, honestly, like all the research I've done, gone to like shadowing with other doctors and stuff like that, I had the opportunity to witness a lot of open heart surgeries and closed heart surgeries, and that really drew me in. And so because of that, I wanted to be a cardiothoracic surgeon, which is a heart and chest surgeon. And yeah, it was just talking to them, seeing their work daily life balance, and just seeing how humble and nice and like just sophisticated they are also really interested me. So I think that's like the deepest story I have in that area.
But yeah, definitely. And I think especially as parents, have children, they start staring kind of like sharing their own like childhood stories. Oh, I used to walk like 3 kilometers and everything.
Right.
And it's like so funny. Like as I think about it, like the moment they tell us these things, I'm like, oh yeah, why are you telling us? But now that I realize, like growing older, it's like, you know, explaining the hardships that you went through,
Hmm.
like it does inspire the next generation to do better. And
Yeah.
I think Gen Z right now has a lot of opportunity to
Hmm.
with social media and like a lot of networking and resources. I think it's been way easier, but also very competitive. So,
Yes.
yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
So yeah, like I think every um ethnic family has gone through that like talk like, oh, I used to walk like 10 kilometers to school. You guys
Yes.
have cars and all of this, and like computers, even
Yeah.
computers, phones, all of that. And I think that is so funny because like it's just something that's staple in every single family that you talk to. And it's just like, yeah, like they all walk, they all this. And when you're younger, it's kind of just like, oh, why are they telling me that they walked? Like, I don't have to walk. Like, that's great that they have to walk, but like, what am I actually going to learn from this? But as you said, as you get older, even though you don't have to walk 10 kilometers or take a, uh, like your parents can drive you now or you can drive or whatever it is, the thing is like you hear about their hardships, you hear about what they had to face,
Hmm.
and in a lot of ways you're like, hey, like I've learned so much from just hearing their stories even though we don't have to go through this, and it makes you grow and learn so much quicker and makes you just be so humble for what you actually have today in this day and age. Sometimes you look past everything that you have, like here we have a house, we have water, we have food, we have such good education, and we live in a country where we have literally anything and everything we want at our fingertips.
Yep.
And hearing about their struggles and everything, whether it be in India, which is the case for both of us, or anywhere else, it's just like, wow, like I have all of this, and sometimes I look past it. And why am I looking past all of this? I have so much that I can grow from, learn from. We're in a day and age where we have a lot of things that aren't technically given to us. We have to work for it, but they're still there. And it just like drives you to do so much better when you notice that you just have so much to learn from, so much to grow from, so much to just use. And I think that's beautiful. Like, I think that's so beautiful.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I feel like knowing the background of where you came from and where your family's from, I think it does really like make you like kind of proud in a sense. For me,
Yeah.
like coming from India and growing up in a Desi household, I've always been influenced in like, Kathak and like a bunch
Hmm.
of other stuff. And I think, you know, knowing my identity, like it kind of shapes me as like a person who is very kind of like knowledgeable and flexible with like, different surroundings. So is that the same case for you?
So yeah, I don't know if you're South Indian or North Indian. Are you South or North?
North Indian.
Okay, so I'm South Indian, and so my dad is from Chennai and my mom is from Mysore.
Hmm.
So I always grew up around Carnatic music, which is South Indian classical music, and playing instruments associated with South Indian classical music like the violin, veena, mridangam, um, ghatam, and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I've always grown up around that scene. I started singing Carnatic music when I was 5 years old, I believe. And at that time, I think one of my parents' friends had introduced my parents to Carnatic music, or like teachers in the area, in the Bay Area. And so, one second. Dad, I'll open it later. Can I open it in a little bit? Oh, okay. Give me one second.
No worries.
Sorry.
No worries.
So, I've always grown up. Yeah, okay. So my parents' friends introduced my parents to the teachers in the Bay Area,
Hmm.
and my parents then joined me to a teacher in San Jose called Hari Devnath Uncle.
Hmm.
And so from there, I started my music journey, and I have been singing literally ever since. And it's like I've just fallen in love with music. And every single weekend we have concerts, and Fridays even now. But back then it used to be every single weekend, and it would range almost the entire day or like a big part of the day. And all of like I was around so many people for so many years, and we grew up together in music. So I just fell in love with it. Like there's literally nothing else about it, and I don't think I'll ever stop singing. And then later on, I started playing an instrument called a vina. So vina is a string instrument. You strum with one hand, and then you put your hand like fingers down on a fret to produce the sound.
Mhm.
And that I started quite a bit later, like in like sixth grade, I think. But yeah, again, like I fell in love with it, and my mom even used to play the vina before, and I think that's why I got a passion for it in the first place. But yeah, just everything in general, just a very cultural household, music wise and every other like way wise. And yeah, just I've loved it. I would not want to have my family be any other way, honestly.
It's really wonderful. I guess like reflecting on, your passion for music and how there used to be concerts every weekend. What are some of the most formidable challenges you encountered and have you navigated through them?
So in the music field, some challenges that I've encountered is so in first and second grade, I was in the same music school, but I had some trouble with singing, with matching a pitch. You can say it's called shruti, but like pitch is, I guess, the best way to put it in,
Mhm.
like terms that people can understand. And so I got switched to another school. And in this other school, I basically started over because like styles are different. So a lot of music styles are different from a lot of different teachers. So I started over and I learned a lot there and I could not be more thankful. But there it was a bit slower than it would have been if I'd stayed in the same school.
Mhm.
So coming back, so then in eighth grade-ish, I came back to the school that I'm still associated with now. And so it was difficult for me because my friends that I'd started off with were already way more advanced. Like they had gotten way more advanced than I was, and it was kind of just difficult for me to be like, hey, like even though we grew up together, I'm kind of at a place that they're not. And they were such supportive friends, and again, could not be more thankful for the group of friends that I had. And even though sometimes I felt like, oh, like they're so much better, like back then, like they're so much better, they've advanced so much. They always, always, always hyped me up. They were always like, "You sing so good. It will help you." Da da da. They always, always, always were there. And even though those challenges were there in my head, music wise, actually being there, I never ever felt like I was any less than anyone there. And my teacher as well, amazing teacher, and just I kept growing and learning every single day, and I still am to this day. And just so blessed in general to be in an area and in a community that does not make you feel like you are any less because you are not as advanced or whatever as other people.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like a big stigma around like, especially competition with peers. It's like I think it's not just music, but just in any
Yeah.
extracurricular like, maybe it might be like you want the lead role in drama play
Mhm.
or like like a dance team, It's like everyone starts kind of like, competing with their peers and that's how, these schools become number one. They're like, oh, we
Mm,
have to be the best. So
right.
I think yeah, and that kind of like puts pressure on the high schoolers and then they have to deal with some like a lot of stress and stuff. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on, this toxic culture?
So, the truth is like the high school that I went to is kind of known for its toxic academic mentality, I guess.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, yeah, like all right, but see, going to my school, it was kind of like either you are in a group of people where you low-key compete with each other, but not really. Like you all are competing in a fun way that boosts each of you up, but also you guys help each other out. And I was able to be part of that throughout my entire life in high school and even in college. So for me, the experience was really, really, really nice because it pushed me farther to just be better. And my friends were always there, and people were always there to help and just make me better. So for
Mhm.
me, it wasn't so toxic, but looking at my other friends and seeing like how they were treated by a lot of people, like when we were younger. When we were older, it was a lot better because I think we grew and just became better people.
Yeah.
But when we were younger, it was definitely like there was definitely a divide between like being like what's it called? Stereotypically smart or stereotypically not so smart, and that became really, really, really toxic. Even with teachers, like teachers would end up having their favorites, and they would give more attention to people who they thought did better. And
Hmm.
so it became super toxic, and people were just so overwhelmed. And yeah, so it can be really, really, really toxic. And I think a lot of people going, especially from a college like mission, um, finding their way in college was very difficult because they just seemed so out of place. And yeah, uh, yeah, it's just I don't have much say in it because I was never part of like I never felt like it was toxic towards me,
Hmm.
but it was definitely, definitely very toxic towards so many people. And I'm just glad that they're doing so much better now and they have so many people around them that treat them the way they're supposed to be treated.
Definitely. Yeah. Um, what novel approaches has your work embraced to confront complex issues or adversities?
Um, so actually not in relation to most of what I've been talking about. A lot of my life it's been um okay, I guess when I was younger I felt like pretty left out of a lot of areas. Is there like feedback on your end?
Uh, it's like it's kind of like a bed.
No, 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 like feedback. Like I can hear a lot of I don't know why.
Oh, oh, okay. Sorry.
Okay,
Never.
no, no, it's okay. I was just wondering if it was from my side or
I know, right?
okay. Anyway, so throughout a lot of my life, I've experienced like being left out of like friend groups or just people in general because growing up, I guess I grew up in a very different way than a lot of people around me did. So like being a little girl growing up, a lot of people get a lot of friends that are like girls, like a group of
Hmm.
friends, or like you grow up with them throughout school. That is usually what happens. And as a guy, like you get a group of guy friends, and you grow up and like maybe like you get a friend group in the middle or something that's like both, whatever it is, right? Or whatever a person identifies as. Like they find people like that, and they have a group like that, right?
Hmm.
So for me, growing up, I never started off with a group of friends that were girls, like ever, until I think I was in literally eighth grade.
Oh.
So I started off with a group of guy friends, and we are still really good family friends and stuff like that. But like I always was friends with them. I always did things with them. So growing up, my mannerisms were very much like theirs. Like I wasn't a person who would dress up in like little dresses or like dress up even. And I was so stern on the fact that I hated pink when I was younger. Like I remember so vividly being so stern. I was like, no, I hate pink. I will never wear pink. Da da da. That obviously changed later. But yeah. So because of that, a lot of the times it was really hard for me to talk to girls and like be friends with them. And growing up, there's always differences between guys and girls and just like people in general. And so it was so difficult for me to just become friends with girls or like keep a friendship with a girl because I just felt so uncomfortable because I wasn't used to their mannerisms. I wasn't used to all of that. And then growing up, like I became like someone who is like I am a girl. Like I love girly things, but I am also like inherently like I love stereotypically boyish things.
Mm.
And so to this day, it is still very, very hard for me to approach a girl and like talk to them and be friends with them. Whereas if I was to approach a guy, I can like be friends with them almost right away.
Wow.
So, yeah. And that to a lot of people is really weird because to some people it comes off like, oh, I just want to be friends with guys and like that's like me being like a pick me or something like that. It's like it's not like that. Like I just can't.
Yeah.
Like I try and it's just it separates me from so many people because so many people just like, stereotypically they're taught something or they learn something or they hear something. And then I kind of just sit there and go, okay, like what am I supposed to do? Like how am I supposed to be friends with you? How am I supposed to do this?
Yeah.
And I think throughout my life I've been through quite a lot of hardships, a lot of things like that. So I've learned from all the adversities and stuff like that to just be humble, be nice to everyone, take in every single person's feelings and considerations no matter what, like no matter what happens, like every single person has feelings.
Yeah.
And no matter what happens, you don't just live a life that's like, oh, it's just your feelings or and no one else's. You just do whatever you want and let everyone others like things go. So I'm always there for people when I can be, even if like people haven't learned that yet or whatever, like I will try my best to always have that in me and just always be as kind, as generous, and just as nice as I can be. And that has become a core part of just who I am. And actually, I love it. Like, I love that part of me. And yeah, I think that is the biggest thing that I've learned, like, the biggest novel approach that I've taken to life from everything that I have been through.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, it's like me too. Like I had a lot of guy friends when I was little.
Mhm.
And then I started having more like girlfriends kind of like probably like sixth, seventh grade. And
Mhm.
we've still been friends. It's like a group of five of us. And I think like what I've noticed is like, as we were talking about like the toxic competitive culture, like, it's more common for guys to just like compete with each other. But I think for girls, it's more like, oh, like beauty standards and all that. And I think it's
True, yeah.
like like I don't know, like we can't wear the same makeup. Oh, you're gonna like when the birthday party look. It's like a whole another like level. But I think it's just like very unique on how like it's just that way. Like I think
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think guys are very much like, they're not, hmm, they don't look at each other like they are competition. Man, I'm not saying a lot of girls do. A lot of girls don't.
Yeah, yeah.
But it is more likely for a guy to not look at another guy and be like, oh my God, he's competition. He looks so much better. He's this or he's so much smarter or whatever. They're like, oh, like, bro, like, let's hype each other up, like, type of thing. They're always like that. And it's so nice to see that because I think for them, they don't have as much support
Hmm.
as we do, which like is so true because a lot of them don't even go to their own friends when they are going through a hard time because society has taught them that they cannot be so-called weak in a way
Hmm.
and they can't cry, they can't do this, and it's so sad talking to guys and they're like, yeah, I haven't cried in years, I haven't done this, I haven't done that, and that to them is like a good thing, which like okay, but like I'm sure there are things that people go through that just they need to let it all out, and it's just society is like you can't let it out, like you cannot do this, and that's been instilled in them. Even in my own brother, like if he's going through a hard time, like if he wants to cry or if he has to cry, like he'll hide himself, he'll whatever, and I've tried my best to be like, hey, like I'm here. Like you can always show me how you feel. It doesn't matter who or what says what you can do. Society is so messed up in that way, and that is so not true. You can let your feelings out. You should let your feelings out. And obviously, do not show them to everyone. Not everyone deserves to see that. Not everyone has the mindset that they should have,
Hmm.
because a lot of people will make fun of you or whatever, and that is so not worth it. But let it out, like be yourself, you know? And so I'm so glad that they like hype each other up, and it's so nice to see. And yeah, that's great. And then with girls, you do see a lot more like fighting and just in general, just a lot more like clashing, and it's just like what's going on here? Like why is this happening? Like
It's like
why
a
can't
big
we
round
be the
circle of
same?
drama, like a
No,
triangle.
literally, like every single time, like every single friend group, there'll be some sort of drama or like something or the other, and it's just like, why is this happening? Like, why can't we just be civil? Why can't we like? And I'm not saying everyone, like there are such great people that are girls, obviously, and they are such great friends, and there is zero drama. But like most of the time, like you'll see drama, or like they'll hate each other, or like it'll be like, oh, like you have this, but I don't. I hate you. We're wearing the same thing. Oh no, we shouldn't be wearing the same thing. Oh, this, that. And it's just like it's there's so much, and it's just not it. Like
Yeah.
I know.
I'm kind of just fed up with the entire thing.
No, literally, and it's just like, what did I do? Like why can't we wear the same thing? Like we're matching, like hello? Like it doesn't matter. We can't
Yeah.
wear the same look. Why? Like like for what reason can we not dap each other, or not dap each other up, but like
And
why
I
can't we just like hug each other every single time, like instead of being like, oh, you have this, or like you know this person, or like this or that, and it's just kind of like too much, just too much, and not my vibe. So like I try to find friends that I can just be myself around and not have drama with, because I think at this point in my life I am quite done with drama, and I do not want any more drama.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like especially as we mentioned before, like I mean right now as women, like, people expect us like after we go to college, if we're gonna do med, oh like you'll
Right.
also have to raise a family, you'll have to get married, you have to do all that. And it's like, why is that like the general stigma around like why do women have to do all that? Like that's I just have a personal thing against like people just like, you know, how society's like, oh, we have to follow certain rules.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why do we?
Yeah, and especially like if you're going into a field like med or law or dental or something, like something that's like long and it has a lot of longevity to it. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna finish at like, see, like my course of field, like I'll finish when I'm 32. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, you finish at 32, when are you gonna get married? Like that would be the first question. When are you gonna get married? When are you gonna have kids? When are you gonna do this? And it's like, dude, like, okay, yes, I want to get married. You're right. And maybe I'll get married in the middle, but why is that of any concern to you?
It's
Why are you asking me when I'm going to get married rather than being like, oh, like, what are you interested in? And I think I am very blessed to be in a community where there are lots of aunties and uncles that ask me about my career rather than when I'm gonna get married. Because I know a lot of my friends, and they'll be like talking about it, and they'll be like, yeah, they keep on asking me about when I'm gonna get married, when I'm gonna have kids, and we're like, I'm 19, like, and this started when they were like 15. That's crazy. Like when you're 15, like that is crazy. And
wow.
it's just I sit there and I'm like, what the heck? Like, why is it that like every young person, not even just girls in general, just girls and guys, why is it that people ask us when we're gonna get married when we're so young?
Yeah, definitely. And I think like especially, how you mentioned that, you shadow doctors in surgery and stuff, right? And I think like especially like neurosurgery and cardiology
Mhm.
and everything, there's like less female doctors as I've heard,
Mhm.
like because of this like thing, right? People are like expected to like fulfill like become
Yeah.
the ideal mother and like ideal like I guess
Yeah.
woman of the house or something like, but it's just like would you rather like sacrifice your career or like
Yeah.
no do your because I know a bunch of aunties right now, right? And like they've all sacrificed their careers and I'm like,
Yes.
why? Why?
Yeah. And I mean, okay. See, I think for a lot of women out there, they do want to be mothers. Like they want to be a caring mother, and that is really hard having like a really hard job or a job that takes up a lot of your time. So a lot of the time it's they have to leave it behind because in the past I think they haven't been able to be taught anything else, like to manage both,
Mhm.
especially coming from India or like a place that isn't where they are staying now.
Mhm.
They worked in the place that they were born before, and transferring it here is so difficult. Like it is so difficult. And it's just with a kid and raising kids, and it's always like, oh, the husband works and like you stay at home and you take care of the kids. And it's just, I think it's been so hard for the generations before us to keep their jobs as a woman
Mhm.
and also raise a family because of that. And even in this day and age, so many people want to be mothers, and not everyone does, obviously, but it's just it takes a lot to be a mom. Like you see that every single day with your own parents, and it's just I think it's tough to be like, hey, I can also do my career, be as successful as I want to be, but also put in all the care and love that I have into a child and a family. And so it's just so difficult in the first place. And then when you have people being like, "Oh, you're a woman, you should stay at home," or you like your job is to take care of a child or make a family, and then it's just more like okay, like I work for my career, but like if this is what people are saying I should do, or like uh what society has been like, or just whatever gets instilled in your in like a person's brain from a young age, it's like, okay, like I'll give up my career because what's the most important? A family, like raising a family. But the truth is, both of them are equally important. And it's just, I think there is a very toxic culture around that needs to get reshaped. And I think it is. I think it definitely is. But it's going to take time because it's been like that for so long. And it just, nothing changes like in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, definitely. It's not just like, just like India in general, it's like around the world. So, yeah, I think like, drawing from your own journey, what invaluable insights or pearls of wisdom would you impart to individuals embarking on similar paths as you?
Um, I would say follow your heart. It is very hard to follow your heart in this day and age, and I know that so, so, so well. But follow your heart, do what you feel like is right. Do not do things just because people around you are doing them or because you are getting peer pressured into it. Like, always do things because you feel like you want to. And, like, use both your brain and your heart. Not just your brain, not just your heart. Like, use both, put it into full force, and find yourself. Like, it's hard to find yourself, but find yourself through every single thing that you do. And if you get a push to do something, do it. Like, don't um stay back and be like, no, no one else is doing this, or no, like I can't do this. Like, only some people have done this, or something like that. Just push. Like, there is a reason that you are getting that burst of energy or burst of whatever. And whatever that reason may be, maybe it's to help you grow, to help you find something, to help you advance. Whatever it is, do it. Like, put your all into every single thing that you do and do what you truly feel is right, and in every single part of your life. And I think that is the best advice that I could give anyone. Maybe kind of vague, but like it is definitely the best advice.
Oh, it was wonderful. Yeah, thank you for being here today, Sanmathi. And yeah, I look forward to being connected with you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and I look forward to connecting with you too.
All right.
Or sorry, to being connected with you too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.